Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I am here for another play around with, we have made our kit from a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I thought that I would come on and we would do some, or a couple of videos, or maybe one video depending on how we get on really, is how to extend your kit if you've only got one sheet of that paper. We talked when we did the kit, we did the 12 by 12, that obviously in most paper packs you generally get 2 of each sheet of paper. I only had one sheet left of this particular paper, you know, as I'm sure lots of you probably are similar. So I thought that we could come on, please excuse my hands, I've already done a video this morning, so I'm already covered in ink and gesso, I'm afraid, but back on topic here now. So what I thought I would do is come on and talk about how I would extend this kit now to make it sort of fill a journal if you only have one of those sheets, if that makes sense. So as you can see, I mean, this particular kit, I used this gorgeous green paper, which I absolutely loved. And I have married it with lots of pinks. I've used these sepia tones and things, and obviously we've got the coffee dyed you know, doily pieces and things like that. Now, what I would tend to do, instead of trying to marry up the green with another, you know, another green, I would probably try and pick up something else that I have used. So, for instance, with this particular kit that we've made, what I thought I would do is just marry it up with some pinks. And I have married it up with my Blossom Blush kit, because obviously the pinks are just a really good, you know, good match for this. I also have pulled along a couple, or brought along a couple of sheets from my Ring of Roses kit, because again, that's got lots of pinks in it. You know, different sort of images, but similar colour tones. Obviously the Ring of Roses kit has also got a lot of greens, which would tie the two sort of themes together as well. If I didn't have any of these particular printables, I would just go back through my 12 by 12 paper pads and I would find a pink sheet or maybe a sepia tone sheet that I could then extend the kit by using that sheet. I mean, for instance, here actually, I've just happened to have this laying around on my desk. I have got this sheet of 12 by 12 paper. So I would maybe, if I wasn't going to marry it with the pink, I would maybe take something like this and make some pieces on this colour, but then bringing some green into the embellishments on this page, if that makes sense. Because to me, that would then bring it all together and make it all sort of match in a, you know, cohesive sort of way. So that's just a little tip there. And what I thought we'd do is obviously, yeah, just literally make a couple of extra pieces that we would now marry up with this kit. So I've got here this, you know, from the Blossom Blush kit, as I say. I don't know even whether I ever did a launch of this kit. I've kind of lost track of what I've done and what I haven't now. So I thought the first thing that I would do is take this sheet, and I'm going to make one of those little folding, what do you call them? Like a fold out piece, which I did a tutorial on these before. I love how these turn out because they feel really, really nice. So that's what I thought that I would do here. So I'm just going to go round and glue this together. Now, I probably don't want to go as low as the bottom of this, so I'm just going to apply my glue, you know, pretty close to the edge at the top, right down the edges here, and then just missing kind of a centimetre or two at the bottom. Again, I mean, I don't measure, so you know, you do kind of what suits you best. You may find it easier to cut your pieces down prior to gluing, and that's absolutely fine. You know, and sometimes maybe I would do it that that way myself. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to, you know, not necessarily have a fixed method. So I'm just going to glue these two sheets together. This is something I've quite enjoyed doing actually through last year, was for some reason gluing the two sheets together. It gives a really nice feel, and it makes your pieces quite spongy, and yeah, a sort of tactile nice feel to them. So that's something that I've quite enjoyed doing recently. So what I will do now is I'm going to fold it in half first of all, like that, and then I'm just going to fold in what's going to be my little pockets. So one there, and then what I will do here is fold it that way first, just so that I can line it up easier, and then fold that obviously in, oops, in that way. So as I've got my two pockets. Actually, that needs to come in a bit more. That's fine. So as you've got your two pockets there. Okie dokie. And then, of course, you can use your bone folder to, you know, really squash everything down, make it all stick nicely. And then I'm just going to cut that bottom bit off. I mean, obviously we glued kind of, you know, a little bit further up. Hopefully it's where the glue roughly is. If it isn't, I can just go around that with some glue, but it looks pretty good, so not too bad. And then all I'm going to do here is glue my flaps in together. And again, obviously you could stitch this if you had a sewing machine handy. You can obviously stitch these pieces down. Oops, I'm now getting ink all over this from my earlier projects. Right. And we just glue that down like that. Okay. Excuse me. So that's just my little fold out piece. I'm just going to trim across the bottom again because it's not that neatly trimmed. I mean, I always find, you know, a bit of a problem if you're cutting straight away when the glue is still wet. Your pages are going to be a little bit soggy, which is what my problem is here. And therefore they're going to sort of mold around the scissors. And then you're not going to get very straight edges. But, you know, obviously I'm doing a video, so I'm trying to do this, you know, in some sort of speedy fashion. Believe it or not, I know it's possibly not really coming across very speedy at all, but I am actually trying to do that. So I'm just going to trim this bit down as well where that's happened at the back. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad now. And then what I want to do is obviously tie it in, you know, nicely with my sort of greeny shaded bits that are here. So all I'm going to do is take some other bits and pieces. Now, on my Ring of Roses kit, I've got these lovely images of this really pretty girl. I'm just having a rummage beside me to see whether I've got any others that are actually just on copy paper. No, I think the other bits are all a bit large, so hold on. Yeah, they're all going a bit large. So I'm just going to tear her down like that, because she's not too badly, you know, dissimilar in colour to the images that I obviously used from that vintage encyclopedia. So just going to tear her down like that. Okay, and then obviously I'm going to ink her up. Now let me just clean my, well, let me see if I have a spare ink pad. No, oh yeah, I have. No, I haven't. That one has blue already on it, so not really what I was hoping for. Hold on. No, I haven't. Right, let me try and just dab off, because I had been using the wild honey with this ink pad, so I'm just going to you know, clean it off a little bit so it's not covered in wild honey. Okay, so just really get that ink off like that. Okie dokie. Right, what I'm going to do is take my walnut stain and ink around the edge of this in the walnut stain. Like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to sort of tie it in further with, I've got some, again, she says, and now I can't find it. Right. Got some of this, which is actually, again, just from my Ring of Roses kit, and it's just a little portion of the background page. But again, it just brings those colours quite nicely together. So I think what I'll do is, let me get rid of this white edge here. Oops, not very easy, because I thought, oh, I'll try and get rid of the white edge, but keeping that little run of pattern. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that very easily anyway. Right, let's just tear that as best we can, and I'm just going to go down here like that, and then just tear across the bottom. Okay, so what I can do then is obviously tear it down at this side a little bit. But again, that just is tying in the colours a little bit more. So I'm going to glue her onto there. Like that. And then I'm just going to tear this bit down a little bit more, because otherwise it was a bit on the big side. And then again, I'm just going to ink that up a bit more. Like that. Okay. So she straight away is looking a little bit more brown, you know, a bit more similar to this piece here. And then what I can do, if I've got some handy, okay, let me just grab some book page from the side. I can just add some book page down there as well. Oops. That's not very nice. It's talking about dead bodies there. This is, I think, one of those Reader's Digest books. You've got to be a bit careful with those, because a lot of the stories are, you know, slightly sort of gory subjects, or, you know, politically not very correct subjects and things like that. So, yeah, just sometimes can be a bit tricky to use them. Right, I'm just going to ink that up a bit. Like that. So that looks pretty now. And then I'm going to ink around, obviously, my entire, you know, pocket piece that we've just made. So I'll just go all around that. Again, I mean, I really could have done with changing my sponge on my blending tool, but never mind. And then I'm just going to go around the inside as well whilst we're doing this. That just ties it all together. Bit at the top and down the edge. Like that. Okay. So let's bring her back with the book page. I prefer the book page at the bottom, actually. And then again, we can tie it in further by using one of these ticket pieces. I mean, this is just on copy paper, so it's very thin, you know, to use. That just ties the green in a little bit more. So I'm just going to ink that up. And that's what I'm saying about finding just then, you know, if for instance you used the sepia toned background page, you know, just then sort of tie it in by bringing in a little bit of green or a little bit of pink, or, you know, whatever your colourway is that you're using. And then that just sort of helps to bring it all as one again. So I might just have it more like that, I think. Okay, so let's just glue these down. Like that. And then we'll just glue down the book page piece. And now we'll just glue down our sort of centerpiece here. Okay, like that. I'll just press that down with my dry wipe. Like that. And then what we could also do is pop on one of those words. So, or actually I've got this little learning to dance in the rain, this says, so perhaps I will just tear that down slightly more. Probably going to tear the letters now, the words, and won't be able to use this, but might be okay. There we go. And just a bit off the top, otherwise it was a little bit big. And then just tear it down slightly at the edge. That's it. And we just ink that up. A tiny bit there. Like that. And then of course we're going to have a bit of lace, which also again is, you know, all helping with the continuity and tying it in, because, you know, I'm just using the same lace here. So we'll just decide how we want this, whether we want the lace here down the fold, or whether we want it along the top. I think down the fold was quite nice actually. So I'm just going to glue this piece on here. Like that. Okay, and then just going to pop some of my 3-in-1 down here. Like that. And we're just going to glue this down. Oops. Just dab that off with my dry wipe. And then it's up to you if you wanted to, you know, reinforce your spine, as it were, by sticking the lace down, you know, on both sides. I mean, I guess it depends whether you're going to be gluing this into your book. I probably will. And to be fair, this is kind of reinforced anyway because it's 2 sheets of paper. So I don't think I'm going to bother doing that. I think I'm just going to trim it off at the edge. So I'm just going to trim the bottom. And then I'm just going to trim down the side here. Like that. Whoops. Not quite like that, but like that. And then again, just a bit more sort of continuity there is the same colour bling, which I'm just going to add down there. Oops. I'll just pop that on. Just down there like that. Okay, so that to me looks, you know, not too far off of these pieces now. I wouldn't probably put them on the same page, but definitely, you know, through a journal, I would be more than happy to now pop those in the same journal. So we'll just make one more piece to go with that project. Probably that's all I've got time for today, but if we take another piece of the Blossom Blush here, now this is obviously a much thicker piece of paper. This is on 160 GSM. So what we could do, just having a look to, haven't got a plan in my mind of what we're going to do, so just bear with me for a moment. I'm thinking it would be quite nice to incorporate these flowers somehow. Let's just have a look. So maybe thinking if we just trim this off, just deciding which way is better to trim this. So well, or what we could do, I guess, is make a sort of packet like that. So let's chop that down about here. Like that. Yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? So what we'll do is just glue those in like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is cut this down here like that, and I'm just going to take my corners in like that, and then just here like that, and then there like that. Sorry, I had a little person talking to me just now. And then we're just going to fold that up there like that. Don't know how straight that looks, but never mind. Right. Obviously I'm trying to film these videos ahead a little bit, and yeah, so right, let's just glue this section down like this, and then we're going to glue our flap down at the bottom like that. Now obviously, as you can see, I mean, I should have glued that the other way round because I then would have had my straight edge, but I was obviously distracted a little bit by my daughter, but you know, that's fine because this is going to be glued down on the page, so you won't notice that, to be fair, once that's on the journal. So we've got that piece there. So again, I'm just going to kind of bring in one of these pieces so that I just see what sort of balance I need to get on here to, you know, bring it together in a sort of nice nice way, I suppose. So what I might do is actually just tear out a little section from here or something, you know, and see whether that would be enough to actually tie the pieces in. So just going to tear that down like that. And I'm just going to tear this off because I don't want that rosebud bit showing in the corner there. So if we just had that there, just going to tear this down here like that. I guess we could have it, I don't know, because that's then covering up that, which I quite liked, but if I put it down, it's covering up the flowers. Well, I think we'll have to cover up this piece, to be honest. And again, I'm just going to use another image from the Ring of Roses kit because there's another girl who, again, I could use, or actually I could maybe use one of my photos. So let's just have a look and see. I think we used this gentleman already. Yeah, I think we did. Yep, we did. So we're not using him. And we also used the, oh no, I haven't got any of the others, so that's okay. So we could use this gentleman here, or this girl. So let's just have a look and see which is going to look better. I mean, weirdly, I don't mind that man there. The girl maybe is better, actually. So, again, I'm just going to tear her. I mean, she's like on a photo mount, but I'm just going to tear her down. So she's not on the photo mount anymore. So I'll just tear around there. Like that. And then just tear here. Like that. I should really check that I'm in frame and filming, actually, because I feel like I haven't done that. Actually, I might not have done that on video, I'm not sure. Look. Okay, yes, looking like I am, so that's okay. You just get these horrible feelings and think, oh, I haven't checked for a while. I hope I have been filming. Right. Just wondering whether we want that to the side. Like that. Okay, now, again, I'm just going to have a look. I've got some more tickets beside me. And I've also got some labels. So, just having a look to see what's going to be best. Oops, bear with me. Oh, nearly falling off my chair. One of these videos I'll end up falling off my chair. And yeah, you'll all just hear this loud thud where I've ended up on the floor. I mean, you know, I know that I am joking, but it wouldn't be beyond the realms of things that are likely to happen, to be honest. I am very clumsy like that, so it's entirely possible. That is entirely possible. Right, okay. Just having a quick look here. I've got these labels which I could use. So let's just. This is again just copy paper. So I've got a mixture here of my Ring of Roses pieces on copy paper and on slightly thicker paper. I don't think I've done a launch yet of that kit either. Yeah, I don't want to kind of bombard people with the launches like all the time. So invariably then things are often in my shop for a little while before I end up sort of doing anything with them. And obviously sometimes then my design team, you know, lovely ladies might have actually already used them before I've actually got round to uploading the launch. So and that's wonderful, you know, absolutely lovely. It's I'm not complaining about that. That's really, really great. But I lose track is all I mean. I then lose track of what I've done videos for and what I haven't in the end. So it's hard to keep track sometimes. Right. So I might just layer some things like that up, I think. And then I was just wondering about this little label. Okay, let's just pop this doily piece down. Come on. Okay. Okie dokie. Like that. And then I'm just going to pop this piece here, like that. And then I just ink this ticket up a bit because it's quite, you know, quite bright otherwise. So just ink that up a bit. And then we'll have her there, I think. I mean, actually, I could have that as a little tuck spot, to be fair, for that ticket. So perhaps we'll do that. So I'm going to glue her down as a little tuck spot. So like that. Okay, might make her a little bit higher, otherwise I had just a bit of a gap from that doily which looked a bit strange to me. But now, do we want that piece of label on there or not? Yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we do, because whenever I try, I then think, oh yeah, the label, or oh yeah, you know, whatever it is that I've tried. So we'll pop that there. Just checking that I want that piece and not the piece with the flower, actually. Ooh, not sure now. Oh, probably this piece. Like that. Okie dokie, and then just put in my butterflies and see whether I've got some butterflies that might look pretty with this. So just bear with me a moment. I've got a green one here, so perhaps we'll do that. That again just helps to bring in the green a bit more. Okay. Just cut around that. Like that. And then just here in between its wings. Okie dokie. So we've got that like that, and we'll just pop that butterfly, I think, there. So just ink that up. Just pop that on there. Like that. And then, oops. That looks pretty, doesn't it? And then we'll just finish that off with a little bit of lace, I think, across the top. Yeah, probably across the top. I don't think I actually inked up this piece at all, so we'll just ink that up. Like that. And then I'm just going to pop that lace across there. Okay. Oops. Just kind of moved that doily and it was then sticking up, so there we go. And I'm just going to trim that across here like that. Okie dokie. And then again, I should have some bling left. Yep. So we'll just pop some bling down. So I've just got a smallish piece there, which I'm just going to pop here. Like that. Okay. Oops. And then I'm just going to see if I want some here in the butterfly. Yep. Always looks better once you've tried it. Okay, so then just, oh gosh, if I can get it unstuck from my fingers, we will just then pop that on down. Okay. Oh, super pretty. Right, let me now have a look and see what the time is and what have you. I think it says 36 minutes. Right. So what I'm going to do is probably leave it there for today, and then I may come back and do a few more pieces with you. I mean, basically it's just to give you some ideas of how you can extend your kit, you know, if you've not got a couple of sheets of the 12 by 12. You know, for me personally, I just think rather than try and match this green up and then fail miserably, for me it was kind of better to go with a contrast. And hopefully you can see now that the pieces are gradually, you know, to me they look like they're sort of tying together now. So again, as I say, I wouldn't necessarily have them on the same page. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but you know, I may or I may not. But the journal now, or you know, the pieces for the journal are beginning to tie in because we've got elements that are the same. We've got the same lace, the same bling. You know, we're using the same sort of ticket pieces here. We've got similar colours going on because all of the pieces generally have got a bit of green somewhere, a bit of sort of sepia colour somewhere, and a bit of pink. So, you know, hopefully you can kind of see now that to extend your kit, if you've only got that one piece of paper, you can just tie it in with other pieces, if that makes sense. I mean, you might not even like your journals all matchy and you may be happy to have them, you know, a bit more eclectic, and that's absolutely fine too. But this is just some ideas for if you wanted that sort of you know, appearance. So hopefully I will be able to come back and we can make a couple more pieces, and yeah, if not, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you all again soon. Thanks then, bye.